Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is V. I post nail tutorials once or twice a week depending on what crazy stuff our life has going on. Now for today's video, we're going to be doing my girl Candy's nails. We are doing her birthday set, so we're going to be doing some Frenchies, some 3D, and some crystals, which I haven't done in a really long time. So I really hope you guys enjoy the video. But before we get into it, I have an announcement to make. In my last video, I did announce a giveaway, and that was for this Muckart Flawless Pro Efile. If y'all don't know, now you know. This thing is honestly really good quality, and it is in pink. We all love pink. Now for our winner, little drum roll please, my girl Candice, congratulations. I will leave your comment right here so that you know it is you. Message me on Instagram, please ma'am, so that you can claim your prize. You have until the next video to do so. Otherwise, we will give it on to the next person. I hope y'all enjoy the video. Now let's get right into it. Getting right into today's video, we are starting off by removing my client's current design. You have seen this on my channel. If you haven't, definitely go check out all my other videos. But I'm going to be starting off by just removing that design, which was encapsulated chunky glitter. If you watched that last video, you will know that I pretty much did a very thin layer of the glitter. And that means we have a good base nude nail on there. So I'm pretty much just going to be focusing on removing that glitter. We are going to be doing a fill on this. On some of the nails, I do have to file them down quite a bit, so I'm going to go ahead and do that all in one process. I'm using my not polished Efile at a speed of about 10,000 RPMs. And along with that, I'm using a 5-in-1 bit, which has been my favorite and must-have bit if you are looking for a good carbide bit. I absolutely love this one, and I try to recommend it as much as possible because I truly really love it. Now I'm just going to be taking that and focusing on removing the design from this specific nail, as again we're just going to be doing a fill on that nude color. Now my girl did have a little bit of lifting, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that at this point as well. I'm going to try to remove it at least as best as possible. On her index finger, she had a little bit of an accident, so I'm actually going to be focusing on removing that entire acrylic nail. She does have an acrylic overlay at this point, which means all of this length is her natural nail. And since she did damage it, I wanted to assess it before I decided whether I was going to clip off her natural nail or what we were gonna do. And luckily I didn't have to, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish removing this design, and then we'll get to that index finger. Now before deciding the process in which I'm going to remove a damaged nail, I do always ask if their finger is in any type of pain or their nail is in any type of pain. Now the reason why I do this is because I want to ensure that I am not going to inflict more pain on you, and it also gives me kind of a good idea of how much pressure I can apply, what tools I can use to go ahead and remove it. So for the most part, I try to file down the nail as thin as possible. Typical acrylic removal process. Again, her natural nail is the length of this nail, so I don't want to cut it off if I don't have to. But if needed, I would have definitely cut it off. So I'm pretty much just starting off by filing down that acrylic. And I know that the break or the lifted area is pretty much half of her nail. So I'm gonna be focusing on that tip area to try to expose the lifted area. And as soon as you see a little bit of white come through, that is a good indicator that that is where she has the lifted area. So as soon as I saw over to the right side that little lifted white piece, I was like, okay, this is my mark, and I can go ahead and focus on trying to remove it. Again, she doesn't have any pain, so I could go ahead and try to maybe lift it up a little bit using my fingers or some nippers to try to just break it off to make the process go a little bit quicker. If it's not budging by me simply picking it up, I just leave it alone and I go to file it one more time, and you can see how it easily just came off. Now we're gonna get back to that nail a little bit later, but you can tell that it lifted up pretty good, and I know that it was painful for her when it happened. Luckily it wasn't bad, and again, luckily we didn't have to remove her beautiful nail. I could just go ahead and lay acrylic over top of it. It healed really nicely. There was no actual cut to her skin, which is always a really good thing as well. So we're just gonna focus on reapplying that acrylic. Now this always goes nail tech to nail tech. You always decide what route you want to take, but for me, I felt comfortable doing it and she felt comfortable, so we just went ahead with the same process that I'm typically doing with an acrylic fill or an acrylic overlay.
Sobrepasar los límites de tu figura, bajar por tu cuerpo y llevarte a las alturas.
I'm gonna go ahead and prep her natural nail with a small mandrel bit from Kiara Sky, medium grit sanding band, and a very low speed of 3000 RPMs on the not polished Efile. We're gonna gently push back her cuticle and then just buff that shine off of her natural nail, trying to remove as much dead skin as possible, and again removing any lifted areas she may have fully at this point.
Hicieron falta palabras, fue un lenguaje corporal, todo fluyó natural, de lejos se notaba la energía sexual. Mami, ¿qué más? Hay algo en ti que me tiene mal, una belleza que me quema. Cuando vaya, la nota me estalla. Mami, ¿qué más? Hay algo en ti que me tiene mal, sé que anda puesta para el problema. Dale, vaya, que yo te doy falla, falla. Deja que los cuerpos hablen, no hace falta más. Si ya muy bien tú sabes lo que va a pasar. Tú me pones la mente a volar.
Next, I'm going in with my hand file, and we're gonna file those sides, making sure that we just start off with a good shape for our acrylic application. On a lot of the nails, I'm only going to be doing a fill, so I figured I would just go ahead and shape them up so that I can just easily do my fill and have very minimal amount of shaping towards the end. I try to do this every single time just so that I don't have to overfile that nail once I get done. And then at this point as well, if she wants her nails trimmed down, I would gently do that with a hand file, or I would have previously done it if she wanted a larger chunk filed down with my Efile.
El río fluye, nunca solo está, solo está.
Next, I'm taking this diamond bit and we are going to focus on that cuticle area. I want to make sure that I fully remove that dead skin so that her nails do not lift easily. And I just pretty much take this bit at a speed of 4000 RPMs, and I'm going to carefully file around that area, and you can see a lot of that dead skin coming up. And that is essentially what you want. If she had any little dry patches around her skin as well, I would go ahead and very gently buff that off at this point. I'm quickly cleansing with the lint-free wipe and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe, and then we are going to be adding the Triple X Bond as our primer. You can always do 2 rounds of that. I'm just going to be going in with 1. And very thin coat, focusing on the natural nail area that is exposed, and on her index finger we're going to fully apply that on the entire nail. Now we're going straight into our acrylic application. For this process, I'm using the Kiara Sky Monomer, and for my brush, I am using the Not Polish acrylic brush in a size 12. But I'm gonna go in and simply rebalance that nail lightly, since we did have a good base acrylic on there already. I'm pretty much just adding a little bit where it is needed, specifically infilling that nail, and then at the tip adding a little bit more just to rebalance that acrylic that we already have on there. And I kind of move the finger around to look at the nail from different angles. That way it allows me to fully see the nail and see where I need to add a little bit more, or where I need to tuck in the acrylic a little bit more. So for this one, I'm just doing a little fill process, and I just simply take a small bead, apply that near the cuticle, hold the finger down, and then I just quickly blend down. If I have any little areas like I did right there, I would go ahead and add a little bit more. And don't be scared to still manipulate your acrylic as much as you can while it is drying. Sometimes it just makes it a little bit easier, and if I have a little area that is a little too wonky, I would just go ahead and tuck that back in. Or if I need a little bit more infilling, sometimes you can just flatten out that acrylic a little bit, and it will easily infill that area that needs a little bit more acrylic. Now for the index finger, we're going to be going in and building back up that acrylic. So I'm taking a medium-sized bead of acrylic, placing that near the center of the nail, and then I quickly just start tucking in those sides, holding the finger downwards. The product will naturally flow down towards the tip, and that way I get a nice even layer of acrylic. I'm pretty much cutting off the excess acrylic, and then we go in and tuck those sides once again, flatten out the top. I'm very gently moving that acrylic. I'm not dragging it, I'm not blending it, I'm just patting it into place to where I want it and to the thickness that I want. And then at this point, we're gonna go in with the second bead, placing that near the top of the nail, and I'm just gonna focus that bead on blending it down towards our first bead. Super simple. I'm tucking in those sides with the tip of my brush, blending out the middle section, and I want to focus on those sides and that cuticle area so that it does not overflow. And then lastly, tiny bit of acrylic. My hand twitched and I got so mad. I fully remember just thinking, what the heck just happened? But this was a late appointment, y'all, so I do not question my process when it is late in the day or very early. I just try to find excuses, but in all realness, this tends to happen, and if it has happened, definitely let me know in the comment section. Now, once everything is nice and dry, I'm gonna go in and file the nail. For this process, again, Efile at about 8,000 to 9,000 RPMs, and then I'm going back in with my 5-in-1 bit and just focusing on that cuticle area, making sure that it is nice and flush, and then very quickly just file the rest of the nail vertically up and down for longer nails and horizontally for shorter nails. That's just my preference. You can always use a hand file as well. I do so with longer nails, but it kind of just depends on what I'm feeling, honestly. And see right here, I'm going horizontally. It really just depends on what I feel comfortable with and really the speed that I'm using my Efile at. Again, focusing on that cuticle area and then gently filing the rest of the nail. Very quickly, we're going to be filing those sides and the tip of the nail, making sure that our shape is perfect. I am using the not polished hand file for this. I've been using these for a while. I keep forgetting to bring my Tammy Taylor ones, but honestly these do a really good job, so definitely recommend these if y'all want to test these out. I do really like them. They're just a lot thicker, or wider I guess I should say, and the Tammy Taylor ones are super slim, so I think I'm definitely more used to that. And then these are one-time use files. Always make sure you are disposing of your tools that are disposable. For example, these, the Tammy Taylor ones, you can just rip off the file and then clean off the pink plastic piece. So do note that. I'm going in with a sponge buffer from Profiles Backstage, and we are buffing away, making sure everything is nice and smooth for our nail art application. Again, we're cleaning that surface of the nail with a lint-free wipe and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe. You can always send your client to wash their hands, just preference. I'm just gonna go in and really scrub that cuticle area and bring it all the way down to ensure that I fully remove that dust. Now for our nail art, it is my girl's birthday coming up, so happy birthday to her. We are going to be doing Frenchies in white, and then we're going to be doing some 3D and some crystals. I haven't done either of those in a very long time, so I got really excited when she shared her thoughts with me. I was like, yes, absolutely yes. So we're going to be doing white Frenchies. I'm pretty much just hand drawing that smile line with the long liner from Veeda Bella, and I am using a mixture of Veeda Bella white gel paint and a white gel polish from Profiles Backstage. So I am pretty much outlining with my gel paint, and then I outline the edges of the nail as well. You'll see me doing the process specifically on the rest of the nails, and I'm pretty much just outlining my edges, and then I go in with the actual brush for the gel polish, and we're just gonna infill that because easy peasy. We are trying to make the process a lot quicker. Why struggle when you can just use a thicker brush? So I'm gonna go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails except the middle finger. So Frenchies on all except the middle finger. Now since we are using gel products, make sure you cure that in the light for a full 60 seconds. I like to do 2 rounds or until I'm done with the other hand. That way we are fully cured and ready to go. Next, we're going to be doing some crystals on this nail. I'm adding red. I absolutely love that she chose red instead of like your regular AB crystals, because that's just a little different and we love that. So we are going to be adding a few on the side. This is going to be our base or our starting point for our 3D flower that we're going to do. And I'm just using Young Nails brush on glue. The crystals are old from Not Polished. I think they've been discontinued now. But we're going to be applying that with a little wax pencil. And easy peasy, we are good to go. I do like to use gel for more intricate or bigger stones, but if they're just tiny like this, I can easily encapsulate with gel polish, and it's just like easy. It's gonna hold on the whole time that they have the nails on, because this is literally the process that I used to do a long time ago when I was taking clients full-time and they never fell off. So Young Nails brush on glue is definitely an OG. Now for our 3D flower, we're gonna be taking my favorite 3D brush from Amazon, and I'm taking white acrylic from Not Polish, and I am just going to apply a small bead, and I instantly press down the center with the tip of the brush, and then we bring it out into the point, and then we are going to be focusing on perfecting that little petal. Everyone has their own ways of doing this. This is just my way of doing it. I've gotten very used to doing 3D nail art, so I do add a little bit of acetone into my monomer. That is simply to speed up the process because I want to go, and I want to be able to finish that nail art quickly. So I'm pretty much just placing a bead. I make sure that it's nice and round for my starting point, and then taking the tip of my brush, I am removing all the excess monomer from those bristles to speed up the process as well. Now we flatten out that edge just a smidge, and then we're gonna go ahead and repeat that on the other petals. So I'm doing smaller ones right in between those two. Same process. I'm pretty much just pinching it at like a 45-degree angle with the tip of my brush. You can kind of see there where I am avoiding the edge of that petal, and I'm pretty much just focusing on the area that is touching the crystals and the center of that bead. And that was it. Pretty much super easy. Once you get the hang of it, every 3D nail art you do is going to be super easy. You just got to get that formula down and you are good to go. So definitely keep practicing and let me know what your biggest struggle is for 3D nail art in the comment section. Now we're gonna go in and top coat these nails using the Young Nails stain resistant top coat. Here I'm taking my liner brush and I'm taking a little bit of that top coat and going in between the crystals. This is just gonna help pretty much encapsulate those in place, and it's also gonna prevent them from sticking up on the sides, which irritates a lot of clients, and reason why a lot of clients steer clear from crystals is because they do get stuck in hair. So I made sure that I went in and I fully went around those crystals so that she didn't struggle with them, especially with having little girls, y'all. It is a struggle. My little girl, I've learned that I cannot have nails on and do her hair, and we cannot have her looking like a mess. So these nails have been naked for a good minute. I'm just gonna apply that thin layer, and we're gonna be popping that in the light for a full 60 seconds. Do note that this top coat has a tacky layer, so I'm gonna quickly take a lint-free wipe, a little bit of Young Nail swipe, and we're just gonna cleanse that off. Add your favorite cuticle oil. I am using Sweet V by Profiles Backstage. It is my collab with them. If you didn't know, now you know. Definitely go get it. It smells so good. But that pretty much concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a ton. Happy New Year to all of you guys, and I cannot wait. I feel like 2024 is going to be so good, and I am manifesting it for all of y'all as well. I'll see y'all next time.